Hello guys, welcome back to Unique Arts. I'm your host, Costco Picasso. You can also call me Shenanigans, especially since this is Shenanigans Shenanigans number 3 for March 2024. I'm not going to have this be a very long video. And breaking off from the usual, I'm not recording myself with video. This is just being audio that I'll be adding in. Actually recording this at like 2 a.m. because I couldn't really sleep. So here I am. This video is also a little bit late, and I have not been very consistent with making videos lately. I'm going to try to get back into that. I have been having, I don't know, I don't really want to bother people with my own worries. I know everyone else has their own worries, but I guess to put it simply, I was arrested about 6 months ago, and even though they have no evidence against me because I didn't do anything, I've always been a law-abiding citizen, even if I think the government is wicked, and this has pretty much just proven that to me, that even though with no evidence against me, no witness against me, they still convicted me, and my sentencing is tomorrow, actually, about 36 hours or so from the time of this being recorded. So we'll see how that goes, see if they throw me back in jail. I don't know, I've pretty much lost all faith. I will be leaving the state of Montana when my lease is up at the end of next month, as the plaintiff in my case is the state of Montana, and I think they're evil, I mean, to be perfectly honest. But regardless, governments tend to be evil. They work to just take away the rights of people, despite that being who the judge, they're supposed to serve the people, and they literally do the exact opposite. Why can't we convict actual criminals? We have to convict Costco Picasso, who doesn't do anything but read books. But whatever. I have only read 2 books in March, and I'm in the process. I'm in the middle of a couple of books, and I'm sure I'll finish maybe, hopefully, a couple here in April as well. But I mean, I felt my goal essentially was 3 books a month, and I fell short of that. In March, I only read 2. But hopefully, I can pick up the slack over some course of the rest of the year. I mean, I already read more than 3 in January and February, so. And the 2 books that I read were Kon-Tiki and Lord of the Rings: Return of the King. So I finished those both actually in the beginning of March. I think most of you are acquainted with Return of the King, and it was phenomenal. In fact, like all the other stuff I've been reading, which isn't too much, I guess, fantasy stuff I've been reading, it just doesn't hold up compared to Tolkien, and I know that, that's going to happen. Tolkien is considered essentially the granddaddy of fantasy for a reason, and he's incredibly good, that even these other guys who are good, they're not going to necessarily feel as strong when it comes to their showing in their works of literature, but they're not bad. Return of the King was phenomenal. I think it's a wonderful story. I need to get myself some physical copies so that my kids can see them while they're growing up on the bookshelf. I also finished Kon-Tiki, and it was good. I explained it a bit in last month's video because I was almost done with it at that point, but it's just, and I've done a video about it since then, an individual video on it, which I would recommend you watching, but also really good. This was obviously non-fiction, and I think that the idea of such an adventure sounds cool. It perhaps appeals to the male mindset, perhaps why we like fantasy in many regards too, right? But Kon-Tiki is reality, and he was trying to do it. He did it to try to prove his thesis, that his thesis was possible. But either way, really interesting. I think it's really sells itself well just because it is real, and it also is that sense of adventure, even if it's relatively more logistical in some regards because it happened in the modern era, and other bureaucratics nonsense. But regardless, a great book. Highly recommend anyone read it. It's really, really quick read. It's only about 220 pages, if I remember correctly. Very quick, though. And if you live in Oslo, I recommend, or near Oslo, or just anywhere in Europe, I guess, if you're ever going to visit Oslo, go to the Kon-Tiki Museum as well. I think I will, if I can ever afford to go to Europe. Norway's not on the top of my list, but it's definitely on my list. So we'll see, maybe one day. The other books I'm in the middle of reading are Witchy Winter, the second book in the Witchy War series, by DJ Butler. I've not been as invested, but I'm getting through it slowly. And then I started the Grimnir Saga by Scott Odin, so I'm reading Gathering of Ravens. I'm actually almost done with that at this point, but I've been enjoying it. It's very much to the point. I kind of appreciate the world building of Lord of the Rings, and then I think DJ Butler does a better job at this as well. But at the same time, it's historical, like happens during a historical period in like England and Ireland and stuff like that, and that is stuff I'm very much interested in personally, and I'm already acquainted with to a degree. My heritage is largely English and Irish and Scottish and pretty much the Isles for the most part, and then really the mainland is just German, personally. But the I think I've been invested in it because of that in many ways, and just the idea of like the pagan world existing. Even though I'm a Christian, of course, myself, I find it very engaging. Even if the story I feel like is in many ways being beelined, and I don't know how attached I am to any of the characters and stuff like that. So I don't know if it's necessarily the best written in that way. But then again, there are just different ways to write things, even if I don't think it's the best way, regardless. But that's pretty much where I am for books right now. I started another short story that I haven't finished. That was pretty much the only thing I did for writing last month. So I have 2 things I've started that I have not finished, which isn't really good for writing. But I'll get to those when I get a chance. And yeah, I guess let me know what you guys are in the process of reading, and let me know, of course, if what you think of the books that I've read or are reading as well, if you've read them yourselves. I hope everyone has a great opinion of Return of the King. I feel like they should, or they ought to. But I will see you guys next time, and hopefully with the sentencing and everything behind me, I'll be able to move forward from this, and I'll be a bit more positive and less sad. So hopefully my videos can continue like normal, and I won't feel just constantly under the weather, I guess. But sorry about that. And for those that I guess actually watch the videos. But I'll see you guys next month, and I do appreciate you watching. Please feel free to like and subscribe if you haven't, and yeah, have a good one.